So, Bane, what did you think of Gatsby?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Don't you think Bane would be fundamentally against the Great Gatsby?
I would have thought so.
Bane loves parties.
Welcome to the Bucket Tunnel Podcast, Episode 8. I'm Pete, and I like to party.
My name's Kemp, and I like to party.
My name's Duncan Bukaki.
You ruined everything.
Why you do this? Oh yeah, Phil.
It's Phil.
Good.
That's right, we're eating some chips.
Well, we haven't saw Taken 2 in the movies.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, it's sort of like it's a Hangover sequel. It's
Yeah.
It's
I'll find you.
once more with feeling.
Yeah, but no feeling.
I don't kill you.
But there was just a great bit in it where, spoilers, a loved one gets kidnapped.
No.
Yeah. But there's this great bit in it, in the movies, and this is the only time I've ever actually experienced anything like this. So I was sitting in like a packed cinema on like the opening weekend or whatever. And it gets to this bit where he's talking to his daughter about, I think it's his wife that gets kidnapped. I don't know. It's a really forgettable movie. Someone gets kidnapped, and his daughter asks him, "Dad, what are you gonna do?" And the entire cinema, you can hear the entire cinema just like slightly lean forward, and he says, "I'm gonna do what I do best." And I swear to God, the entire cinema goes, "Oh!" Like at the same time, all in unison. There's this disappointment, and then there was like, "Oh," because everyone else did it. It was the best.
Dad, who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters! Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I was washing my car today, and that was on the radio at the car wash. The Ghostbusters theme tune.
It's the best name.
It's still catchy.
Did you ever watch the cartoon? The Ghostbusters
Yes.
cartoon? That was classic.
Love that show.
Did not.
Speaking of movies and TV shows, I saw Gatsby last night.
Yep. I hear you're a fan.
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you read the book?
I did read the book.
Were you a fan of the book?
Yeah, I enjoyed the book. I didn't go like, ugh, this is... Yeah, exactly, I didn't do that.
Because I'm in that camp. I'm a huge fan of the book.
The only people who are going to say anything bad about the movies, they're going to be like, well, it's just going to be like another Baz Luhrmann, and then they get in there and they're like, oh yeah, see, I told you. But like, if you look for mistakes and if you're looking for Baz Luhrmann, you'll find it. Like, if you don't have an issue with him, then it's fine. In fact, I reckon it's perfect.
You don't have an issue with it? After he destroyed our country?
Right?
The reviews that I've watched of it have been saying that they were kind of disappointed that I haven't read the book, but you'll be able to correct me on this if I'm wrong. But I think one of the key kind of themes in the book is that you're not really sure like who's kind of a good guy or a kind of a bad dude, if you know what I mean. Not like the classic protagonist antagonist, but kind of like you don't quite know what everybody's really about. But in the movie, it's kind of pretty straightforward.
I think in the book it outlines who's definitely a bad person, but it's kind of up to you. They don't paint Gatsby as good of the character as they do in the film. Like, Gatsby comes across as a
good dude.
As a really good dude.
Yeah, that's what
I think that was the intent of
See, that's a bit.
But,
that's a bit. I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I've got my own interpretation of the book. Like, some people say, it's meant to be talking about the the decline in the American dream. But I think in the end, what it was mainly insulting was people who were dickheads with money. It wasn't attacking the American dream.
People who don't know how to be rich.
No, it's not attacking Gatsby. It's attacking people who think, the old money. So people who think they're top dogs and can do anything that they want.
Because I've never read this. I'm interested.
It's definitely in it, but I think there's also it also Gatsby's foolishness. I think the fact that you can just create this entirely false
He's not trying to make Gatsby seem stupid because the book's called The Great Gatsby, and
that's almost like great as in
Well, no, like
asking the question.
People at the time said that the Great was a reference to like the golden era of magicians, like like the great Houdini, which was a reference to Gatsby being this like like an illusionist, not a.
But Caraway, but that's not the whole point of the story is the obsession with Daisy, not him being able to have lots of wealth.
Yeah, but
it's only a minor.
But doesn't he? Isn't that his tool?
It's a great because he creates this facade to try and win Daisy back.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's like it's this facade to win Daisy back, which is the main point of the story. It's not to go like facade and then Daisy.
No, because I think
that's the way it's portrayed in the movie. That's the impression that I get.
I think they were more side by side in the book. I think the secondary theme of like the
it's actually just listening to you guys
hit on it.
Listening to you guys talk about it kind of reminds me, and I don't know, this is not really a spoilers for Game of Thrones, but what's his name? Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Kind of built up this amassed this wealth.
Yeah, but his is actually his is real.
So I don't understand this real.
Gatsby's is real. It's just that he lied about how he got it.
Oh no, but it's
Yes, it's real. It's completely real. It's just that he got it through illegal means.
Yeah.
Sure, but you don't watch Game of Thrones, do you?
Yeah, but you haven't read the book and seen the movie.
No. But I'm trying to asking if there is a parallel. Yeah, and I'm asking if there is a parallel.
A bit. Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty
because he's kind of he uses his wealth and power to achieve his own devious means.
It's not devious though. He's just trying to get this girl to love him.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not meant to be an evil character.
No, I'm not saying he's evil, but because it's kind of you can still be deceitful.
He is a good dude. Yeah, he is sort of meant to be, I guess, misleading. Is probably I don't know. I can't think of a better.
He's
word
not meant to be misleading. He's actually
no, but
it's meant to be sort of childish in a way. So he's I love this girl so much. I'm gonna get this money so that she'll love me. It's not meant to be oh.
Yeah, it's meant to
be like
Scrooge McDuck.
I love her so much.
Yeah, it's meant to be a bit naive that he'd think that would
boyish. Yeah. Popular. Anyway, great movie.
So that was the literature hour.
And it also there's that really great line in the book. It's either Gatsby and Daisy. It's Fitzgerald says that they just smash up things and people and then retreat into their money.
Yeah, so that's Caraway talking about after Gatsby's been shot.
Yeah,
that they've destroyed this. Oh well.
Yeah.
Spoilers to a 90-year-old book.
Yeah, it's like Romeo and Juliet. It's just after he's been shot, Daisy goes away and doesn't acknowledge, that she practically got Gatsby killed. And Nick Carraway at the end of the book is Gatsby's one of the most hopeful people that I've ever met, and it's people like him which are beautiful in this world.
You're beautiful in this world, Kempy.
Thanks, Duncan.
So why remake the film now? Or not remake the film. Why make the film now?
Because we can.
But can you because the other thing I've kind of read, and it's been interesting considering I've not read the book or seen the film, but kind of drawing parallels with modern day situation, kind of pre-depression era.
I don't think it's meant to do. Yeah. I think it's just because
it's not Tower Heist.
It doesn't have anything to do with the depression though.
It's a movie called Tower.
Yeah, I know that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's all the evil Wall Street guy stole all their money and now we will get it back. Thinly veiled reference to current circumstances.
That's not really thinly veiled at all, isn't that the kind of point of the film?
Yes.
Whereas Great Gatsby
it's not really the point of Gatsby.
No. I'm not saying it's the point.
The money is not the main point.
My feeling was, and I think a few people who were sort of nervous about Luhrmann making the movie was that Baz Luhrmann decided he wanted to make a jazzier, extravaganza movie, and he was hey, The Great Gatsby's set in jazzier.
But that being said, that's what makes it really awesome is that he paints 1920s New York as fucking awesome. So you've got this awesome backdrop, and then behind it all is this sort of love story.
Look, I haven't seen it yet, but I would have almost if that's what he wanted to do, just make Baz Luhrmann's amazing Jazz Age champagne and cocaine adventure.
No,
didn't he do that already?
No, it's perfect with Gatsby. It's perfect. Just see the movie. If you guys say my name at the door, you'll get your tickets for $10, and you might go, which cinema? Every cinema.
The great Kempy.
So apparently, Duncan, you want to take us through the
interesting legal case that you. You came across.
Duncan on our legal studies
Yes,
desk.
as Will is not here this week, I've
Stepping
decided
up to the
to
plate.
stand in as the law student expert, and so today we're going to discuss a case that just recently occurred on, I believe, like U.S. Airways Flight 792, where there was a passenger on the plane who became very unfortunate in her eye patterns.
What?
I don't-
Unfortunate in her eye patterns.
But you're failing at legal language.
What does that even mean? No one knows what it means.
What it means is
Provocative.
this
Wait a
girl
Is she
on an
watched
airplane.
a guy have a tug for 6 hours on a plane?
Yeah. Sitting in her seat, looks across the aisle.
I feel like drawing out this sentence is not necessary.
Was he doing backhand or?
I don't know.
You don't have to answer that.
Which do you prefer? Anyway, she's now suing U.S. Airways, I believe.
Well, she's not suing US Airlines. She's just suing plain masturbator man. Incidentally, worst
she's
superhero.
suing
ever.
the airline because she complained.
breach of-
She complained to the air stewardesses, and they didn't do anything to
They just-
prevent the man from masturbating. They just
Maybe it's because they dared him to.
Maybe there was a pool to see how long he would last. And the person that she kept asking was like, oh no, she was like the longest, she had the longest time, yeah. We'll just give it another 38 and a half minutes, and then we'll get right on it.
I like it. It's raunchy.
On to the next topic.
Lots of raunch.
Be talking about the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, the Xbox One, which is third, part 2 of our coverage on this issue, following this one last week. Phil?
I wanted to bring up with you guys a kind of like rumor that had been circulating, and which had basically been confirmed by Microsoft in that for their system, for the Xbox One, if you buy a used game, you're going to have to...
It'll set it on fire?
No, you're going to have to buy a pass to let you unlock that used game, which is going to be like $35 or something apparently. What?
no. I read or I heard somewhere that like. So you buy the used game and then you have to activate it on your account.
Yep, which costs.
But to activate it, the activation cost is like the same amount as just buying the game.
Yep. So essentially what they're trying to do is cut out used games from...
But surely, like, some games you can only get used now. Like, some games are out of production. So what if I want to play the original Ratchet and Clank, for instance?
Well, you can't because the Xbox One has no.
also, it doesn't play PlayStation
it
games.
That's a bad example.
What about if I want to play Super Mario World? What? I mean,
No, it'd be more. It doesn't have backward
you guys.
compatibility.
Really?
Oh, you
No,
can't even,
at all.
You
At
can't
all.
even play Halo Xbox 3 games.
360.
You mean
Xbox-
Xbox? You mean Xbox 2 360?
This whole naming convention thing is going to take a while to unfuck everyone's minds. I think.
I don't think
maybe
it's
just call it Xbox.
So it has no backward. What?
No backwards compatibility.
That's fucked.
You clearly didn't get the point of us talking about it last week and saying that it's,
No, I really-
it's TV.
I really zoned out for like half an hour there last week.
See, what my question is, how much a video game console is going to change? I mean, I can't see the actual quality of graphics getting, that much better until they actually begin to get like real life. Whereas the jump from Nintendo 64 to Xbox was huge.
Which is why I think Xbox is. I mean, and it's interesting to see the way that both Sony and Microsoft diverging down the different paths, because Microsoft is going down very much going down the. We want to be your entertainment hub. Okay, we know that like the games aren't going to change that much, so we want to be able to do everything for you. You only need one box in your living room, and it's the Xbox One. Whereas PlayStation's like, hey, we know you already have all this stuff. Your TV probably already does Netflix, and you've got we've got a Blu-ray player anyway. So we're going to really double down on like the games. So we've like invested all this money into new games, new developers and stuff. So what I think is really interesting is how they've both like how the public's going to react. Because I think that and this is my issue with Microsoft, is that like in Australia, there's really, to me at least, they haven't shown any benefit. Like, why would I buy an Xbox One over a PlayStation 4? Whereas like I have seen people online in forums and stuff say, oh, I had an Xbox 360 this time, but I'm leaning towards buying a PlayStation 4 now. just from the way that they've kind of sold
Well,
it.
and if there's no backwards compatibility, then there's no point me because I have a 360 now, so there's no point me buying an Xbox One unless I'm gonna buy Xbox One games, and so it basically if I'm.
But there's no backwards compatibility for either system.
How come?
Well, because they figure you've already got the console, so
and it jacks up. What if it breaks or something?
Well, okay, so when the PlayStation 3 first came out, you remember it was like $1,000 or something to buy in Australia. A lot of that was because it had a Blu-ray drive and it had like this wicked new cell technology, and it basically had a PlayStation 2 housed in it. That was how it was backwards compatible. But then when they stripped out that, they were allowed to bring the price down. So it was kind of just one of those cost-cutting measures.
What was the cell technology about?
It was really weird when they were like, it's going to power your whole house. Your PS3 is going to be connected to your fridge and your washing machine.
Really?
And shit. Yeah, well, like if you watch the E3 conference from 2004 or 5 or 6 or whenever it was going to come out, it was really strange. And it kind of was a bit like the Xbox One conference, and where people were like, I'm not really sure how this is gonna be a benefit.
It's like Wii U as well. It's become so complicated now. I would say it's the one that I at least want to go to.
Well, the Wii U always is going to have this audience who's going to buy the next Zelda. I'm probably going to end up getting a Wii U because I wanted to play the next Zelda or the next Metroid or whatever. And my family, my dad has played every Zelda game since the SNES.
Nerd.
Yeah, so. And that's what they keep doubling down on. And I bought a 3DS so I could play the new Pokemon and play the new, the new Zelda that comes out on that, and the Animal Crossing or whatever. Whereas I've also bought a Vita because I like the way that they're kind of interacting with. Looks like they're going to be interacting with the PS4 a bit, so you've got to remote play, a bit like the Wii U gamepad does, how you can kind of take what's on the screen and play it on your Vita.
What I'm getting out of this conversation is that Phil Peters is the ultimate consumer that all of these companies are marketing to.
Yeah.
No, they're not marketing. This is the issue that people have, is they're not marketing to me. They're marketing to people who have a TV and just kind of want to. Xbox is, at least. They're missing the point.
They're not marketing me. The corporations are taking advantage of me.
But backwards compatibility, that locks people into your brand. You know what I mean? If there was backwards compatibility on the Xbox One and my Xbox kicked it, I'd be like, well, I'll get an Xbox One. Because
but your current Xbox 360 doesn't play Xbox games, and my current PS3 doesn't play PS2 games.
Doesn't your Xbox play?
Yeah, Xbox 360 plays Xbox games, doesn't it?
No, there's 20 compatible Xbox, but I don't think the Xbox Slim plays 360 games at all. I think the OG Xbox 360, the original original launch model, played some Xbox games, but nowhere near all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
And when the PS3 went down to its kind
the
of
big ones,
yeah.
That's being said, I'd probably only own games that would be able to play. I had Halo and all that jazz. Would be able to play that.
Yeah.
And would you ask you this question? Would you pay another $150 to have backwards compatibility? Because that may end up be how much it would cost. If you could buy a PlayStation 1, Xbox One for $450, say, without backwards compatibility, or would you pay $600?
This is the part I don't understand. I don't see why you need separate components to play backwards games. Can't you just use the same?
No, because it's the way that the games are programmed and built is based on different architecture.
Can't they just make
it's like saying, why can't I use my Microsoft Word for Mac on my PC?
Can't they just make it the same though?
Well, no, because that's
But surely that'd be a huge selling point within if you could be buy an Xbox One, you can play every Xbox 360 and Xbox game. You can play every game I've ever made.
How
difficult is it?
Well, they can sell you those games back, because what PlayStation 3 has done now, which I appreciate probably more than others, because I never played a PlayStation game before. I had a GameCube and an N64 before I got to play my PS3, but I can go back and play Metal Gear Solid for the PS1 on my Vita, even though the only other way to get that would be emulated or.
What does Vita use? Does it use discs?
No, there's a little chip, but most of them, and this is the other point I was going to make, is
The V chip.
a lot of the pushes towards digital only anyway. So you buy a game, like on Steam, you buy a game and then you download it to your console. And that's what you're going to have to do with the Xbox One, is even if you buy a game, you're going to have to download the whole thing from the disc to your Xbox, and then that disc is kind of useless. So then you can't, and like, the idea is that they're going to cut out used games by saying, well, you can't sell this back to, it's not a good proposition for the EB Games of the world to take this disc
borrow your
back.
mate's game.
You can't borrow your mate's games.
What the?
At this point, at least, unless they've just like completely clusterfucked the marketing for this.
It's kind of like the crossover between, like, you think about crossover between like CDs and then like to MP3s. So, you know, CDs, you could share them around, and people did. That's kind of like that's what the games industry has been for the last like 5
You can
years.
still share MP3s.
If anything, MP3s are easier to share.
Share,
than CDs.
Yeah, but like but they're looking at ways to shut that down.
So what annoys me though is that it appears that they're trying to sell it as a benefit to you. So it's just like,
Well, they're not going to try and sell it as a hindrance.
yeah,
to you.
yeah. Well, they're just like, yeah. All you have to do is just put your CD in, take it out,
Yeah.
you can throw it away.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, why wouldn't you just go? Why wouldn't you just go like an iTunes store for gaming?
Well, that's what they want to push you to. That's what they want to get you to buy all your games online, because then, and the reason they don't like used games is because you got to imagine that when EB Games first gets their shipment of Call of Duty Black Ops 2, for example.
COD Ops 2.
COD Ops 2. When they first get their shipment of COD Ops 2 on November 5, okay, when this game goes on sale, a bunch of people, like millions of people buy it. And then they trade it back if they don't like it. Okay.
Yeah.
So EB Games buys all these copies of COD Ops 2 from the developers, from the publishers. Then when people trade them back in, they can essentially just give that, like, sell that back out for $5 less. So if they sell it for $90 at eBay, like for new, and they can sell it for $80. Yeah. Basically, exactly. You can basically that's where the majority of their profits come from. And the game companies feel that that's kind of unfair to the publishers and the developers, which you kind of like, yeah, sort of, but completely just like these kind of consumer unfriendly practices are just like the opposite of how I think they want to go about it.
Yeah.
Instead of like having, because Steam is essentially the way that consoles will be run in the future. Except what Steam does, what makes that so attractive, is that they every now and again they'll put games for 75% off. And like, I just bought Alan Wake, like every game that's come out, all the DLC for $4. I'll probably never play it. I might never play it, but it was $4 and I might want to play it one day. You know?
Yeah.
well, it sounds like to me, Phil, that they're trying to screw us up. But
Yeah, the man is getting us down.
Trying to put some dicks in
Dicks
our
in the
butts.
butts. I can just imagine them going up, for the announcement of the new Xbox. They're just like, today we're really proud to announce Xbox One. The day Xbox fucks you in the ass.
In Soviet Russia.
All right.
We're actually
And
bringing
it'll be interesting to see how expensive the consoles are, and like if they're going to completely cut out used games, whether they keep the actual price of a new game the same, or they raise it, or they keep it down.
I'm just waiting for like some like third party to step in and just release like the box.
Well, that's what Steam.
It's just universal.
That's what
it can play everything.
Steam has been kind of like threatening their like to throwing their hat in the ring and like putting it in like, you've got your Steam box in the lounge room, you can access all your Steam games and you can just play them on your TV. And like they've released big picture mode that you use the entire system with like an Xbox 360 controller.
Steam is the shit. Can you use it on your Mac?
Yep. Yeah. You can play a lot of games on your Mac now.
Really?
Yeah. For the same, and it's the same. It costs the same. I mean, and if you go on the Mac store, they're still like the actual like Apple Mac store. They sell you games, but they're like $70.
Yeah.
You can buy Call of Duty 4 for $70.
Let's just. I actually have Steam open right now. Let's go through. Oh yeah, bought Oblivion today for $6.
There you go.
Game of the year.
Whereas that,
2000.
Yeah, 2007. But if you look at that on the Xbox 360 marketplace, you can buy it, but it'll be like $30.
I've got games on my PC like Counter-Strike and Bioshock on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just download that on my Mac, will I get those games but for Mac?
It depends on. Sometimes they have different versions for Mac, and sometimes they actually don't have a version that supports Mac. Counter-Strike, you'll be able to, I think.
If you have like a Steam account, you should.
I'll show you how to do it after. I'll show you how to do it on Packers.
I downloaded my all-time greatest procrastination game today in preparation for exams.
Was it
Ultimate
You
Wake
Won't
Off
Die?
4?
No, TM Nations Forever. It's the greatest procrastinate because it's frustrating enough to keep you interested, but not so frustrating that you rage quit, and it's also kind of dull enough that you can just sort of play it while half doing something else. It's kind of perfect.
Fair point.
And it won't completely fuck you over if you have to if you look at some other screen and just let it do whatever it's gonna do.
So I want to ask you guys, because I'll probably end up getting a PS4, but whether or not it's at launch, I don't know. Is there what would it take for you guys to buy like one of the consoles at the end of this year? Is there anything?
It'd have to be absurdly cheap.
How cheap is absurdly cheap?
Like
$300.
I'd say between $200 and $300, and it would have to have like some ludicrously awesome game that I really wanted, which I could only get off it, I guess, and also like a promise of future awesomeness. Because at the moment I have a fully functional 360, so why the fuck would I buy a new console anyway?
Yeah. And they're still going to be releasing Xbox 360 games in the future.
To get me to update my console when it doesn't need updating. It's
I reckon
you need to justify that completely redundant
and this
investment.
This is why I think that Xbox taking kind of a Microsoft taking kind of a misstep, because the people who buy your console at launch when it's going to be most expensive are the people who want new games.
Yep.
So why would you concentrate on not showing new games?
Yep.
And the interesting thing is that E3 is coming up, and they're probably going to come out and just show a whole bunch of games. But I mean, if they show Halo 5 and like a new Forza, it's really not that much of a
it's like how many times can you pull that rabbit out of the hat?
Yeah.
Ignoring the economic side of it, I'd say the only thing that would get me to buy a new console is for it not to be too complicated. Like, for example, the Xbox One, I'm just like, whew.
Yeah, with Kinect and everything.
Yeah, and Wii U, I'm the exact same.
Yeah.
I just want something which I can just
turn on, play a game,
play some video games.
Yeah. Blow the cartridge, stick it in, flick on the on switch, and there you go.
And there you go. You've got a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have made Xbox 362 Electric Boogaloo. That would have been simpler for anyone.
I reckon.
And ironically, that would have been simpler.
I reckon Sega needs to get back.
I tried. You know what I did the other day? I played Team Fortress 2 for the first time because I bought the orange box, but only as like a cheap way to get like Portal and Half-Life and Half-Life. Like it wasn't for Team Fortress. I bought it for the other ones.
Oh, it's Sonic back.
And also at the time I bought it, I didn't have Live.
Yeah,
but I have Live now. So recently, I was like, "Hey, I have Live now."
You're giving Microsoft $70 so you can do things that PlayStation is for free. Yep, go on.
All right. It's fucking.
Just saying.
It was fucking intense. It's one of those games that like the people who play it have been playing it 24 hours a day for 3 years,
especially on Xbox. And there's such a small community on Xbox now. Whereas PC, it's free. It's free to play on PC. So there's just like a whole bunch of people playing it.
It's
on Xbox,
fucking intense on Xbox.
It's not even that fun.
Much like camping. The fun is intense.
It's not even that fun as well.
No, well, it's not fun for the purpose that you can't as a first time player a couple of years after launch, you just like.
Yeah, that's like saying it's like playing against professional Call of Duty players and be like, "Oh, this game's no fun."
Yeah, well, it's like the first week you play a new because I bought into the Battlefield franchise essentially with Battlefield 3, so it was like my first week on Battlefield, except for not just a week.
You played Bad Company, didn't you?
Yeah, but not online.
Oh, okay.
The thing about Team Fortress 2 is, there are 9 different classes, and like each class has like
a dick in its butt.
At least like 10 different weapons.
Yeah,
The learning curve for the game is like.
I absolutely see the appeal, and I'll probably go back to it now. I've remembered that I have it, but
it's one of those things. It is free. I mean, I think it's free on Mac as well. I think you can just download it on PC on
free.
On your
it's
Mac.
free to play if you have Steam.
Yeah. So Campy could go home tonight and download on his Mac, and you could go home and download on your Mac, and you can play together.
Why don't we all go home and download it.
Yeah, why don't we all just stop the podcast now and just go do that?
I actually think the download for it's like 18 gigabytes, so because of all the updates and stuff over the years.
Sweet mother of Jesus.
Let's see. I recently
I don't have
uninstalled
enough.
it to fit Arkham City.
I don't have enough space on my
How much
computer at
does,
the moment to
the
download
new
another
Bioshock
episode of
cost?
Community.
Sorry?
How much is the new Bioshock cost instead?
Get your hand out of your pants, can't be a cheeky
I
bastard.
think it's $70.
$70.
Although you can, like, what I sometimes do is I go on another web. Fucking hell.
What was that?
In the base, man.
What happened to cause that?
It's an earthquake.
I tickled Kev's knob with my pen and it dropped the base.
Oh my god.
Alright, should we end there?
I think we should.
What's the time?
It's 5:30.
Yeah, fuck it, end it there.
Well, let me just say, what a pleasure it's been to.
12 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And that's the other thing. If your new Xbox is gonna be digital only primarily, how are you gonna? I mean, like, if you want to download a game, it's gonna be 16 or 20 gigabytes, and you gotta factor in the cost of your internet plan and stuff as well. Especially in Australia, where everything's fucked.
It is
Well, join us next week where we eat food loudly and half pay you attention when Phil explains complex movements in the gaming industry. Again.
Again.
Thanks for having me, Pete.
You're welcome.